Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Love Fiction, a Korean romantic comedy from 2012 that stars Ha Jung-woo and Kong Hyo-jin. Our protagonist is a man, played by Ha Jung-woo, who is a novelist and part-time bartender, suffering from writer's block. He has not been able to write much of anything for a while now. He's a hopeless romantic. He looks to find artistic inspiration in every woman he meets, but merely ends up with despair and heartache. One day, his publisher asks him to come along to a book fair for a change of pace, and there he meets a woman, played by Kong Hyo-jin, a film distributor, and they strike up a romance. Now, I do like the introductory scene to the film, the opening scene. It's one of a handful of daydream sequences that are featured in the movie. Since our protagonist is a writer, he imagines his writings, and those images are shown to us, the viewers. And the opening scene is like a conversation in a detective agency where Ha Jung-woo plays his own written character, who calls himself out on his lack of writing imagination. It's a pretty amusing way to start the film, and there are some other daydream sequences involving, other story ideas that our protagonist thinks of for his writings. And while they're not nearly as entertaining or hilarious as the ones from My Sassy Girl back in the day, they do add a little something to the film. Now, this movie is basically shown through the male character's eyes, and like many romantic comedies, he's portrayed as rather timid and more concerned for women than himself. He's desperately reliant on them to provide him happiness, even if he does not know them well. So he'll meet a woman, and within minutes, he just instantly falls in love with them. It's a pretty poor and dangerous mindset that is a common criticism for this subgenre of film, but it does exist here. But that element kind of fades away as the film progresses, and he develops a more apathetic view of the relationship during the second half of the movie. He's almost losing interest in the woman at that point. And this kind of helps the film to shift away from, cliche genre elements a bit, especially during the second half. Now, the scriptwriting is very dialogue heavy, and it focuses on everyday interaction between our lead and a fairly unconventional female character. She's not overtly quirky or cutesy. In fact, she's portrayed in a fairly realistic and mostly level-handed way. Not much wackiness in this film, which is a good thing in this case. There's also not a lot of really big plot developments. It's mostly relationship and interaction focused. Now, one criticism that I do have here regarding the script is that because they infuse a little bit more of the realism angle to this, I would have liked a more developed crossroads of the relationship, and then a significant resolution or failure to resolve the conflict. Usually in these movies, you'll have a big conflict, and then it'll either get resolved, or in some cases, maybe it doesn't. And that crossroads moment does occur in this movie, with about 30 minutes left in the runtime. But immediately after that, the characters just kind of brush it off. It's a very common relationship issue that's highlighted, and then it's immediately dropped and kind of resolved in kind of an unsatisfactory way. I think they could have done a better job of wrapping everything up in this. Now, the comedy works fine. It's not gut-busting hilarity, but there are some chuckle-worthy moments in this for sure. My favorite gag in the movie is the one where our protagonist is imagining the girl taking a shower, and he's doing a little dance while he's doing it. You have to watch the movie to get it, but it's that scene made me laugh. As expected from both leads, they give fine performances and really help to make Love Fiction more watchable than it may have been otherwise. I mean, if you had two other, say, mid-range actors in terms of talent as the leads in this film, it definitely would be far worse, I think. I think Kong Hyo-jin actually slightly upstages Ha Jung-woo in this, but that may be because his character is a little bit pathetic early on. And also, one thing to look out for, there's a big-time actor who has an extended cameo in this, and you will recognize him. And he plays a director of a movie within the film called The Ghost Theater Murders. All right. And speaking of the Ghost Theater, multiple actors from the film Midnight Ballad for Ghost Theater are in this. And they just kept popping up. There's 3 of them. And I was like, wow, it's always nice to see these actors since that's one of my favorite movies, but what's going on here? And as it turns out, that's not a coincidence. The director of that film, Jun Ki-soo, also directed this movie. I do think that Ghost Theater is by far his best work, but he only directed 4 movies. It would be nice to see him return to the industry and try something else. It's probably unlikely, unfortunately, because since he hasn't directed in over a decade. But I think my overall thoughts on Love Fiction are that it's carried by the performances of its leads. If you really like these actors, like I do, you'll probably like the film well enough. However, if you're expecting like a compelling romantic drama or just a really like awesome romantic comedy, I don't know if this one's going to be for you. You may want to skip it. It's currently available, though, streaming on Amazon and Tubi. And as always, I'll see you next time.